Regular exercise builds confidence and self-esteem, and that's especially true when you spend your workouts on milestone moves you never thought you'd be able to do, or maybe do again. Let's try these options and variations that'll set you up for success. There are many variations and modifications for push-ups. Each one of them will make you a success. Before we get into modifications and variations, let's talk a little bit about form for a push-up. So regardless of whether you're doing a push-up on the floor on your toes or you're doing a push-up on the wall, there are some things that are common to each movement. First of all, before you start a push-up, press your shoulders down and bring the back of your head back so that your neck is in alignment and your shoulders are packed down in the joint. Now, instead of, I know some of us learned push-ups flaring the elbows up, but that's a much less efficient push-up that could cause challenges in your joint. So I encourage you to bring your elbows down, shoulders down, head back, and the movement is a glide along this plane. So as you push away, you're strong in the upper back and the back of the head is pressed back instead of forward, which is a common push-up mistake. So gliding the elbows back, keeping them down, not glued in necessarily, but a little bit up, and push and pull, just from here. So keeping those shoulders in alignment, keeping the back where it should be, is one of the keys to a healthy push-up. There's many modifications and variations that we can talk about now. So first of all, a push-up on the wall works great. Minimal weight, and this is a great way for you to get your form just right. So again, pushing against the wall, pushing and pulling back, leaning in, and it even helps if as you push away, you lift up on the toes and get yourself in just the right position. So the shoulders are over the hands. So that's a push-up against the wall. If you have a countertop, or you can use a chair like this chair that I have here, as long as the chair is backed up and anchored against a wall so it doesn't slide out from underneath you. It's exactly the same form here, pushing and pulling with the elbows down instead of flared out, and think about your alignment, your spinal alignment. We don't want the hips to sag, and we don't want the hips to push too far up as well. If wrists are an issue, the thing you can do is make a fist and push away, as long as you don't push your thumbs into the ground. Or you can use weights. I have weights here that I'm gonna demo the start position here for a push-up to save your wrists a little bit of stress. All right, so getting to the floor and getting up can be a challenge. If you have done your push-ups against the wall, you've done these push-ups against the wall, you've done it on the countertop, you've started to lower your body down, your incline down, and you're ready to get on the floor and give it a try. You can use a chair to get down to the floor, or the couch to get down, or even a table. So just remember, as you come to the chair, you're gonna hold on, come down one knee, and then the other knee, and it's as easy as that. To get back up, just the reverse. The strong leg goes front, and you push up and bring the other leg up. So let's try some modifications on the floor. So I'm gonna come to the floor, and if you're like me, taking care of an injury, I'm taking care of an injury right now. So the more incline push-ups are what I'm practicing in my workout, rather than this push-up on the floor, which can cause me challenges in my shoulders. So the first variation here would be to line yourself up. Great posture, tuck your tailbone under, engage your glutes. So turn on your glutes and give them a little squeeze. Lift the back of the head towards the sky and press the shoulders down. Elbows are a little bit out, not too far out. And from here, we can come down a few inches, maybe just a few inches. Again, engage your glutes. That'll keep your hips in the right position, because we don't want them to dip down or rise up too high. And then maybe a few more inches next time. And a few more inches the next time. That's it. Now, you can also use weights to save your wrists. So this is the start position right here, on knees, on toes. Make sure, again, that you find the exact right position for your shoulders, where your elbows are slightly turned out, not way out. And this would be your push-up variations right here. There are many ways to do squats, and I encourage you to practice squats every day. There's such a functional movement. It's a movement that we do every day, getting up and down out of a chair. All right, so let's start with a less intense variation, but one that's extremely effective. So come forward in a chair. Think of upright posture, keeping your ears over your shoulders and your shoulders over your hips, and then engage your core muscles. Feet are right under, the ankles are under the knees. Chest is up, and then we start to lean forward with a flat back. So without rounding, lean forward, keep your head back, and then push into your feet. So push down with your feet, and if your hands are on your thighs, do you feel your thighs engage? Let's try that again. Push down and lift your chest. So hopefully you're feeling your thighs engage under your hand. There's another modification if you have a towel, a blanket, or a child's play ball. You can place it between your thighs and push down and squeeze to get a little bit more inner thigh work as you press down. And that's a great variation on a squat. Now, to make it a little bit more challenging using the chair, hands can be on your thighs, hands can be next to your hips, you can even bring them up high. But start to push your feet down, your feet are hip distance apart, and then get light in the chair. And then sit back down. Notice how that feels. So get light in the chair or hover and come back down. Think about bringing your weight right in front of your heels. So push down on the feet and sit back in the chair. Or you can come all the way up and we'll do some body weight squats. So for these squats, a mini squat is great, a little more range is great, or you can even squat lower as long as you're taking care of your joints. So the thing to watch for in a squat is just, first of all, make sure that your feet start about hip distance apart and not narrower. So we want that nice hip distance apart stance. If it feels better for you to turn your toes out slightly, for some people that's a better angle. I'm gonna keep my feet in parallel for now. And then I'll sink my hips back. And this keeps your knees over your feet. So that's an important element. Sink your hips back and then squeeze on the way up. So it's not really as important how deep you go. It's more important that you get the squeeze in your gluteal muscles and your thighs on the way up. So this is another variation right here. Either very high with the hips back, knees over feet, or increasing depth, but make sure that your feet stay planted on the ground and then come back up. Another modification you can make to your squat once you feel like, man, I've been making such progress and I want to do more, is grab some weights. So grab some dumbbells. And from here, this will add just enough weight, starting with maybe 1, then 3, 5 pounds, and progressing as you feel strong. Strong core, so brace your core and make this strong, toe to head. There are many ways to do a plank, several different levels of intensity. So make sure that you think about quality of the movement over quantity or time that you spend there, because you can always increase the time under tension as you're doing a plank. All right, so you can do a plank on the countertop or on the chair at an incline. And then that means you're not holding up your entire body weight during this plank. So that's a great place to start. Also, I have some other modifications that I can show you here on the floor, on my mat. You can always use a chair or a couch to get down on the floor, stepping down one knee at a time, all right? So let's talk about plank first on the elbows, especially if you're taking care of your wrists or if you have issues that you don't feel good in your shoulders when you extend the arms straight. So let's try a few options on the elbows. So as you come to your mat, bring your elbows right underneath your shoulders. So elbows under shoulders, shoulders away from the ears, and then lift the back of the head. And the first thing we're gonna do is come up halfway to our knees. So brace your core, squeeze your gluteals, and then lift your stomach a few inches above the mat. And if you do that, you can already feel a really strong engagement in your abdominal muscles and your back, and then sink back down. So that's a progression, taking time to get up to a full plank, just a few inches at a time. So let's give that a try. We can come up a few inches and then lift up into a plank a little higher on our knees. And from here, the next modification would be up on your toes. Again, shoulders away from your ears. You can start with just a few seconds and spend more time on your plank once you feel strong and your joints feel fabulous. Again, bracing the core is really important. We're first on the elbows, but we can also do this on the hands. So let's give that a try. We'll come up to hands and knees, and then extend the arms overhead, and we'll bring the shoulders over the wrists. And here's a plank on the hands. You can also use weights like we did with push-ups, or come to your fist here or here. Just be careful not to put any weight on your thumbs. Make sure the back doesn't arch. We want to be strong in our back and lift the back of the head as you look down at the floor. Or you can come to your hands and perform the plank, knees or toes. Looking straight down at the mat, no tension in the neck. Tree pose is a great way to build your balance, your core strength, and your lower body strength. Did you know that 80% of your walking gait is done at a single leg stance? So it's very valuable to add single leg balance to your workout. So let's give tree a try. There's many variations and different ways that make it accessible to you. Make sure you have a countertop, or I have a chair close by to support me in case I need that extra little help. So from here, start by pedaling your heels. And that's important because a lot of nerve endings and proprioceptors are in your feet that help you create balance, help you know where your body is in space. And let's start by lifting the right heel. And then we'll find length through the left hip. It's really easy to sink to the left, but let's get strong and long through the hip. Tucking the hip under, find strength in your core. Roll the shoulders back and down, and again, your ears stay over your shoulders. From here, turn your knee out to the side. My toe's on the ground right now, and then I'm gonna bring it forward. Tree is a hip opener as well as a balance pose, right? My standing knee is gonna be just a little bit bent. We never wanna lock out our joints. It's like a shock absorber. Now, if this feels okay to you, you can lift the foot or lift the knee and just start to open out to the side, and notice how your weight starts to shift and how you feel with this movement. So let's open out, toe down or knee up, and then we're gonna find a kickstand on the leg, or place your foot on the calf. Tuck the hips under, open the right knee out, and notice how you feel on that left foot. Are you slightly bending the left knee? One hand can be on the countertop or chair, or even both as you start to think about moving and progressing. Maybe your progression is going from 5 seconds to 10 seconds today. Or you can take away your support. Or you can lift one or both arms and notice how that feels. Hands can be behind the back, They can be at heart center. And that's tree pose. So let's try it on the other side. So pedal the heels, open out. So close and open. Or you can lift the knee or just hover that foot. And notice the hip on the left side working. Lengthen through the right hip, get tall and tuck under. Find your kickstand. How does that feel with and without support? The trick with balance is to make sure you're being challenged, but not overwhelmed. You need a good challenge to improve balance, but too much is overwhelming. All right, so where do your hands feel good? Do they feel good up? Do they feel good behind the back? Do they feel good right in front of your heart? And then just hold. Let's hold for maybe one more breath. Is one side easier than the other? I know it is for me. So just keep progressing your tree pose 5, 10, 15 seconds at a time, and try more challenging options when you feel like you have conquered the option that you're already doing.